Again, everyone, my name is Pilar Arias. Happy to be here with you each and every day. Well, Monday through Friday when we have News Now stream for 13 hours a day, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's when we have the full crew of three. You've got me, you've got Mike Pace, you've got Christy Larson. So when the three of us are here 13 hours a day, live breaking news coverage right here on YouTube. We also simulcast on television, Fox 10 Extra, which is channel 45, cable 9. All right, I'm just making sure the audio is a-okay for these stories. I'm going to play it for you because I want you to be able to hear them, right? Yes. Remember, the News Now hosts, well, we control the entire show, the entire stream. That's the graphics, the audio as best we can. We monitor it. And then, so we don't have any teleprompters, no scripts, no rundowns. It's all ad-lib. That's why sometimes we mess up, right? Which is a-okay. And sometimes things don't go as planned, which is also a-okay because it's a live stream, it's live television. You never know what's going to happen. All right, so let's get these top stories from across the country. I believe I have 8 of them ready to go for you. First, we're going to start in the Midwest area where we're hearing that 3 people are dead after dangerous water conditions at Lake Michigan. Let's get the latest.
Rocky conditions making it difficult for jet skis to stay on top of the water, but even harder for those without a craft.
Knowing what happened in the previous events, yeah, I was kind of nervous.
This is the 31st Street Beach, 3 days after Renee Padilla drowned trying to save his daughter. She slipped on a cement break wall like this one. The Coast Guard is advising people stay off such walking paths for now.
We had a very wet spring, and we're actually at record lake levels for most of the lakes. I believe Lake Michigan is about a foot higher than it was at this time last year. So that can lead to increasing, the amount of rip currents and rip tides.
It's unclear why a 26-year-old man drowned right here near Fullerton. William Garcia Ruiz and another man jumped in this morning. The other man got out okay. Also today, the body of 29-year-old Michael Fernandez was recovered in the Lincoln Park Lagoon. He'd gone in to try to save his dog. All things considered, the Lifetime Chicago Triathlon today canceled the swim portion due to unfavorable conditions. Despite the recent drownings, people are continuing to play in the waves.
The staff that's here is wonderful, and yeah, I'll keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't get too close to the breakaway, but yeah, not a concern at all. We love waves.
We come like every week, every Sunday, basically.
Have you seen the waves as harsh as they are
Not that
today?
big, that's the first time, but we have the same in France. The best here, you don't have the salt, so the water is not salty, so it's amazing. We love it.
Lake Michigan is absolutely beautiful in the Chicago area. If you've never been, it certainly does look and feel like a beach, not like you're at a lake, but still very dangerous conditions out there. So if you are in the area or know anybody who is, make sure that you heed all warnings and stay safe out there. Well, I always listen to News Talk Radio on my way into work here at the station. And today I was hearing that there's going to be an active shooter drill in downtown Phoenix this week. So of course, you can imagine in California, what do they have drills for? Well, wildfire season. That's what this next top story is about.
Being prepared is the most important thing you can do in an emergency. That's why Sonoma County wants to make sure all of the residents here feel comfortable in case there's another major wildfire. The air in Sonoma County is clear. There's no smoke and a fire isn't destroying homes. But the memories from the 2017 North Bay fires linger.
And everybody up here is very nervous anytime we can smell smoke or when there's a high wind.
Mana Troop is one of thousands who ran from the raging wildfires. Evacuating then was chaotic.
Load up cats that were panicked because I was panicked, with trying to find carriers for them and get everything together and get out, and what are we going to do?
She never wants to feel that panic again. So next time, she'll be prepared thanks to an evacuation drill in Sonoma County.
It gives the community the opportunity to actually practice what they might be asked to do in a real emergency.
Sonoma County fire and law enforcement officials worked together to create this drill focused on the Mayacamas area. It's one of many high-risk fire areas in the county with limited roads, heavy vegetation, and a history of fires. As part of the drill, a unique siren blared from Sonoma County Sheriff's cars, one you'll only hear when you have to evacuate. And phone alerts went out.
We're very detailed as far as evacuation directions, where to go.
Residents who signed up for the drill left their homes, followed the evacuation routes, and ended up at the Hannah Boys Center. The next step is to hold the same event in other parts of the county, but officials say you can start planning now.
They themselves can get organized and be prepared to evacuate if they needed to.
For those like Troop who've been through it before, they're ready for what's to come.
We know it's going to happen again, so a lot of people have stuff ready to go.
In Sonoma County, Sarah Zendanam, KTVU Fox 2 News.
Better to be safe than sorry out there in California, right? Especially after some devastating wildfires that they have had recently. Lots of people lost their homes, schools, businesses, and the like. So better to be prepared and do drills. Again, everyone, my name is Pilar Arias. Thank you so much for watching Fox News Now. We're going to continue on with this top story segment right now. By the way, 1:30 Arizona time, we are expecting to hear from Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi in California at a Women's Leaders Event Conference Summit. Regardless of what it is, we will have it for you right here on News Now Live. Okay, continuing on, we are hearing reports that a homeless encampment has set up near a school. I believe this next top story is also in California.
For some, it's an eyesore. Yet another homeless encampment in Oakland. However, for people living on the streets, it's all they have.
We have no other place to go. We don't need to, the hassle of being ostracized and looked at like we're just homeless bums, because we're not.
More than a dozen tents and abandoned vehicles sit along Bond Street between 42nd Avenue and High Street in East Oakland. Although this encampment is home for some, it's become a growing problem for residents one block over. This is what they see from their yard.
We pay property taxes, yet we're not even safe in our backyards.
For fear of retaliation, Jane asked we not show her face. She says neighbors are fed up with the activity of some of the homeless, including sexual acts in their yards.
They do drugs. We believe they're even doing prostitution. They come to the neighbors' homes, they vandalize property. Children can't even walk to school without being harassed.
Right across the street from the encampment is Oakland Charter Academy. School officials have reached out to the city expressing their concerns for the safety of the students. This letter from the principal says, "We are truly concerned about the safety of our students due to the horrible unsanitary drug infestation. Oftentimes, students are forced to walk in the middle of the street due to trash and dumping along the sidewalk. Parents have expressed their frustration and have threatened to remove their students from the school." One person living in a tent says they're not a threat to the students.
My wife, she turns around, she walks the kids to school. She makes sure they get across the street, make sure they don't get hit by cars.
Councilmember Noel Gallo represents this area, and he says there's drug paraphernalia and fecal matter in and around the encampment. City officials say they will do a deep cleaning of the area next week and will start weekly trash pickup and install portable toilets, which residents say isn't going to work.
That's not okay, because that's basically signaling, okay, this is a place where we can stay. That's not going to solve the issue of them leaving.
All right, everybody, continuing on with our top stories here this Monday on News Now. Hello again. My name is Pilar Arias. For those of you who don't know, I would like to invite you to follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search Pilar Fox 10, Pilar Fox 10, and I'm sure you will be able to find me. Here's a live look at the News Now set, all the buttons that we get to press and the things that we get to control and handle and try to troubleshoot if anything ever goes wrong with the stream or the simulcast, which is on TV. Again, News Now is on Fox 10 Extra, Channel 45, Cable 9 from 10 a.m. to noon with Mike Page Monday through Friday. We also have a 7 o'clock show, and News Now is also a part of the 10:30 show on Fox 10 Phoenix. So you can always find us on air, online, by going to fox10phoenix.com. And all three of us, the hosts, we are on social media, so you can stay in touch with us even when we're not streaming. That's the beauty and magic of News Now. Don't worry, if any news breaks across the country, we will certainly have you covered. We are continuing on with our top stories. Ooh, sometimes I just gotta take a breath and slow it down, right, everybody? Okay, so this next top story is about a man shot during a robbery at a South Carolina church.
What should have been a normal Sunday morning for a local church ended with a member in the hospital. Forest Acres police say a man walked into the Centro Cristiano de Colombia church just after 6 a.m. and started shooting.
Un hombre entró por la puerta, empujó y
a man entered, pushed the door, shot, and said, "I want you to give me everything. I want you to give me money."
Pastor Henry Alfaro says around 20 of his members were praying in the dark when the gunman came inside. Alfaro describes hearing multiple gunshots. The pastor says he was afraid someone was dying each time he heard a pop.
It was only like a minute and a half, but it seemed like an eternity.
Alfaro says 23-year-old Esvin Perez was shot in the abdomen. The bloodstain is still on the floor. Police say nobody else was hurt, but the suspect is still on the loose. Officials say he is a black male, last seen wearing a black striped shirt and a bandana covering his lower face. He sped away in a dark-colored Toyota Prius.
Como pastor estoy indignado, estoy enojado.
As a pastor, I am upset. I am furious because what are we going to tell people? At a church where you're supposed to feel safe on a Sunday at 6 a.m. And this happened.
Forest Acres Police is asking for help finding the gunman. If you have any information, you're asked to call 803-782-9444.
Este mismo hecho hubiera ocurrido.
If this happened during church service in the evening, where there were families and children present, it would have been a massacre.
In Colombia, Suji Nam, watch Fox News.
Hey everybody, don't forget that I like to chat with you all on the YouTube chat. There's currently 1,927 of you watching. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a question that I can ask you all that would get a good response. Let's see a peace emoji, peace sign emoji, if you've been watching News Now since this morning, since the stream first launched with Mike Page. That'll be a good little response, right? Good question to ask. All right, we've been hearing about the warnings in terms of vaping, how they can be just as dangerous, if not more so, than traditional cigarettes. So now we are hearing that there could be a possible vaping-linked death. Let's get the details.
There's a lot of concern about this because in the last week alone, the number of potential cases of severe lung illness tied to vaping have more than doubled. And health officials still aren't sure exactly what the cause is. As of now, the one common link in the cases is vaping in general. The CDC and state investigators are currently looking for other connections, though, including if a specific product or compound was used. Most of the patients are teenagers or young adults, and a number of them reported vaping with cannabis oil or THC, the same high-inducing ingredient in marijuana. Their symptoms are similar as well: shortness of breath, chest pain, vomiting, and diarrhea. That is what 17-year-old Tristan Zofelt experienced this summer when he nearly died of lung failure, which doctors are blaming on vaping.
It was these real quick half breaths. I woke up, throwing up everywhere, and I could feel my heart just pounding out of my chest, going super fast.
This week, the Illinois Department of Public Health announced what's believed to be the first death in the U.S. linked to vaping, and the agency's director is raising the alarm, saying, quote, "The severity of illness people are experiencing is alarming, and we must get the word out that using e-cigarettes and vaping can be dangerous." The president of the American Vaping Association is pushing back, though, and suggesting its nicotine products remain a safe alternative to smoking. Telling Fox News several health departments are now linking street vapes containing THC or synthetic drugs to these illnesses. We remain confident that this is the case across the country. These latest health cases are only adding to the CDC's concerns about vaping and e-cigarettes. In 2018, the U.S. Surgeon General called them an epidemic after more than 3.5 million teenagers reported using e-cigarettes. In Washington, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
All right, everybody, here is our third camera angle of the News Now set, so you can see the newsroom right behind me. Lots of action. And a lot of times you ask as viewers, hey, what's that in the background? What are we hearing? Who are we hearing? This is a working newsroom. Lots of people have to do their jobs each and every day, and we just so happen to converse with each other from time to time because we all get along here in the newsroom. And it is a huge team effort to put on the News Now broadcast, whether it's on television or on the internet, YouTube specifically. So now you can see a little bit behind the scenes, and we do have these different camera angles at our disposal. One of the many cool features of the News Now set right here. Okay, so we're going to continue on with our top stories. This next one I have for you is part one of a 5-part series. So it's not part one in terms of it's the first one. I'm saying it's part one in terms of it's one of 5. And this one takes a closer look at fossil fuels.
Whether it is natural gas, coal, or oil, U.S. production of each has only increased under the Trump administration. It's such a priority, the White House calls the strategy unleashing energy dominance. According to the U.S. Energy Information Association, exports of U.S. coal are the highest they've been in 5 years. Domestic natural gas production is at a record high, increasing 12% in 2018. And petroleum production rose 16% the same year. And when it comes to oil, the U.S. has become the largest producer of crude oil in the world.
This is certainly a golden era, but that era is only poised to continue.
Mike Summers is the CEO of the American Petroleum Institute, which represents more than 600 energy companies, including those extracting, refining, and exporting oil. And more drilling is coming. Next week, the Interior Department and Bureau of Ocean Energy Management will dramatically open up the Gulf of Mexico, offering all available unleased areas in the western and central planning districts. That's 80 million acres.
We're going to continue to look offshore to ensure that we have the resources that we need to keep energy costs low for the American consumer.
Also, since Trump took office, environmental regulations have been rolled back, including the Obama-era Stream Protection Rule and the Clean Power Plan, which the president called a war on coal. Getting licenses to drill on public lands has also been fast-tracked. Since 2016, the amount of the nation's resources available for oil and gas companies shot up more than 600%.
The administration's energy strategy is bad for the environment, but frankly, it's also bad for individual people.
Mark Brownstein is with the Environmental Defense Fund and disagrees with the administration's more drilling, more mining, and more pumping energy strategy.
The rush to develop new resources while wasting what we already produce is bad for the U.S. economy. It's bad for the environment. You have to begin to ask yourself the question, energy dominance, who's being dominated here?
When it comes to renewable energy like solar and wind, it is on the rise. However, the demand for fossil fuels by far remains the strongest. And according to the Energy Department, 2017 and 18 were record production years for natural gas. In Miami, Phil Keating, Fox News.
All right, everybody, you heard me tell Mike Page at the end of News Now on Fox 10 Extra. Mondays are by far my favorite days for top stories because we get all caught up from news over the weekend. Oftentimes we get longer feature reports such as that one. We get some really cool video and some top stories reports that we get to show you right here on News Now. And it's all part of the collaborated effort with the Fox owned and operated stations that make News Now possible. They provide the live feeds, the live streams, the Facebook Lives and the like, and the really cool stories that we get to bring you right here. Huge, huge, huge team effort for sure. This next top story I have for you is about a Bureau of Land Management, Department of Agriculture move. You know, they all have departments, they all have office buildings somewhere. It appears there's going to be some movement happening.
It's almost moving day at the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, two agencies part of the Trump administration's pledge to cut down on federal bureaucracy by moving them closer to the farmers and lands they serve. Two USD research facilities are relocating to Kansas City, and BLM leadership heads to rural Grand Junction, Colorado. Republican Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado points out 99% of the land the BLM manages is west of the Mississippi.
I believe they'll make better decisions. They'll make better management decisions when they live and work in the communities that they affect the most.
Critics accuse the administration of conducting a brain drain.
The folks who are in D.C. doing these jobs for the Bureau of Land Management they're the ones who know these laws inside and out.
A number of employees from both agencies are reportedly quitting or threatening to leave. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue testified he was surprised by the pushback.
My goal is to treat this as an economic development project. 600 or 700 federal jobs is a pretty good plum for economic development.
A foundation of retired BLM workers sent a letter to chairs of the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, asking it to investigate, arguing staffers should remain in D.C., quote, where federal agency policy, budget, and oversight functions occur, and decisions are made that affect all Americans in the management of our national public lands.
The only reason to do this in that way is because you want those folks to quit.
Each agency says it plans to keep core staff in the Beltway, with move completions estimated between this September and late next year. In Denver, Alicia Acuna, Fox News.
All right, everybody, proof that I do pay attention to the YouTube chat, what you say, what you ask. I have just been asked by a News Nower. Remember, that's what I like to call you all that are watching. It's currently 1,850 of you here on the News Now stream. Are there any car chases or crashes? No, not right now. Trust me, though. If there are, and we learn about them, and we have a camera there in some capacity, whether it's a Skyfox, a station's version of Skyfox, or a camera on the ground, even a traffic camera, because right here in Arizona, we followed police chases via ADOT cameras, which is Arizona Department of Transportation. We'll bring them to you. You can trust us on that. Okay, so this is another question time. Remember, I'm the question lady. I like to get to know you. I like to discuss in conversation, have everybody chat with each other. By the way, our YouTube chat right now is flying. people have even mentioned that. Have you tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich? I have not. I have, of course, had the Chick-fil-A sandwich, but it's a battle of the sandwiches, and I've been following this on social media all weekend. It was on Facebook, it was on Twitter, it was on Instagram. There's already so many memes out there, and I saw one person that was like, was this a marketing ploy between these two restaurants just to get them talking, people talking about them? It's the battle of the chicken sandwiches, and now we have a top story on it.
The lines are longer than usual at Popeyes locations all over Austin right now as people flock to the restaurant to answer the question, can Popeyes' new chicken sandwich outmatch Chick-fil-A's version? The only problem? Some restaurants are running out of ingredients because of the rush.
I mean, I've had Chick-fil-A before. Like, it's just something new that Popeyes has to offer, and it's good.
Fried chicken fans can't stop clucking about which fast food chain has the best chicken sandwich.
I got the new chicken sandwich. I was just on Twitter, saw all the beef between Popeyes, Chick-fil-A. I'd actually never been to Popeyes.
Well, in here about to eat some sandwiches.
Lines at the Louisiana kitchen chain have been off the hook since Popeyes released their version.
As we were standing there, just hordes of people came in, and it got pretty crazy, I think. I mean, as you can see, the line is pretty much around the corner.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited my business is getting more money. We busy every day. We done ran out of cases of bread.
It's like somebody just like, I just gotta have it. I just gotta have it. And so right now, I just gotta have it. So I'm gonna stand here for 30 minutes if that's how long it takes.
No pickles. I don't want to get flamed for that, but I'm picky, but
Several Popeyes restaurants are in a bit of a pickle because of all the hype.
We went through the line. They were sold out. The line was long, sold out. He was like, well, is there another Popeyes? We drove to another one, same thing, sold out.
Yes, so for the past 24 hours, I've been to 3 different locations. This is the only location that has had the chicken sandwich.
Those lucky enough to find the sandwiches in stock balked at the competition.
hey, look, I got my love for Chick-fil-A still. Always love for Chick-fil-A, but Popeyes really is the go.
Everything about Popeyes sandwich, Chick-fil-A don't measure up. It just doesn't measure up. Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, Burger King, I don't care who it is. It's not the same.
It really is it, bro, I'm telling you.
If you're willing to put in a little extra effort, you can still find some Austin locations that have Popeye's new chicken sandwich. In East Austin, Jennifer Kendall, Fox 7 Austin News.
All right, I'm so glad that finally somebody did that story and we could share it here on News Now, because last week when we first started talking about it here in the newsroom, I remember going around asking people, have you ever had Popeyes? Have you ever had Popeyes? And it was like a 50-50 split. Half the people here in the newsroom were like, no, I've never had Popeyes. And I was like, what? One producer for AZAM was like, oh, there's no Popeyes near me. And I'm like, well, do you ever travel? Because they are in some airports. So I don't know. With all the hype, it looks like I'm going to have to try it at one point or another. All right, everybody, this is News Now. Thanks so much for being here. Big board, Dow Jones Industrial, currently up about 200 points. Nothing but green today. Great way to start the week. I'm going to get a triple box going for you here in just moments. It's going to show you the South Mountain Tower cam, Phoenix, and then it's also going to be an Arizona Department of Transportation camera. It's the I-10. I'm trying to find out. It looks like at Queen Creek, so kind of in the south portion of Phoenix, and then I'm also going to have the big board here ready to go for you. Triple box. Remember, if any news breaks, I'll have you covered. If you happen to miss this top story segment or you want to watch a specific story again, I will be clipping it on YouTube. Please share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, everybody you know. The more the merrier here on News Now, folks. And friendly reminder, please click that subscribe. It just takes a single click. A second click on that little bell will sign you up for notifications, and you could be alerted anytime we go live, since we do have cameras not just here in Phoenix or Arizona, Southwest, nationwide, but sometimes worldwide, hence why we've been covering President Trump's G7 news conference today pretty heavily. Again, this is News Now. Thanks for being here, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope your week is going great. Feel free to let us know where you are watching from.